Today on Warrior Update, we feature Waubonsie's government class, students register to vote, and we preview the presidential election. It's Friday, November 1st. I'm Lily Newton, and this is Warrior Update. The presidential election is approaching. One social studies teacher gives us a preview.
Election day is Tuesday, and Americans are gearing up to get out and vote. Waubonsie Valley social studies government teacher Chris Wolak spoke about both presidential candidates, their campaigns, and the election in general.
Policy-wise, it always comes out as immigration, America first. That has been Trump's Make America Great Again, you know, the MAGA persona. And he's continued to double or triple down on that in his rallies, in his rhetoric. You know, that seems to work for him at his base level. Elections are about contrast that Kamala Harris has, her big issue, women's reproductive health, which she has made it about freedom and not about abortion, but about freedom to keep the government out of our lives. This is also like kind of a vibe election, it seems to me. And you know, you see Kamala Harris's rallies, and Beyonce came out the other night, and all of this, and especially when it first came, it was the joy and the music and all of that. And then on the other hand, the vibe of a Trump rally, MAGA supporters who've been to 50 or more of the Trump rallies, you know, they come out en masse. Harris Walz campaign about joy, then a Trump campaign is almost like making fun of the joy, because they're like, you know what, we're not in a joyful place in America. So then there's your contrast. I do think the voter turnout will be higher. We have more early voting this time around. And in fact, there's more early voting so far here. About 15 million people have already cast their ballots. I think people are certainly more engaged. This, no doubt, will be a very close election, and it should have all of us engaged. I mean, we're Americans. We live in the most famous democratic republic in the world, and hopefully we'll set an example that's still for others to follow than not, because it's very important. It's important to the future of our democracy.
For Warrior Update, I'm Tamia Davidson.
AP Government is preparing for Election Day. Warrior Update reports.
This November, one class in particular at Waubonsie Valley is using the election as a teaching tool. AP Government and Politics course is studying various aspects of the U.S. government and its elections.
So the first semester we focus on U.S. Gov, so our elections, how our government was sort of created from the start. So we focus on the history, but also how it's impacting us now.
We end up talking a lot about different governmental topics, like how the different forms of government, or we'll end up talking about different institutions within the government.
Our first semester is U.S. government, so we learn about all the branches of the government and how they function, how elections work, etc. We learn a little bit of history too, because it still impacts us to this day.
We're learning a lot about the policies that our candidates have, but not just about the presidential election, which everyone focuses on. It's also about our local elections, like our representatives or the House and the Senate, just things that may impact us on a smaller level, but they're still super important to learn about.
We've been talking a lot about the different candidates, how their strategies have worked out, how they've been campaigning, what election campaigns have been running.
This has made me more aware and smarter about the elections, because if I didn't take this course, I wouldn't know what sources to trust and what sources to not. If I didn't take this course, I would probably only look at the polls and sources that are probably not reliable, so it has helped me significantly in deciding who to vote for.
It's a really good time. Mr. Wolak teaches the class super well. I enjoy the class a lot. I feel like I've learned a lot more about the candidates. I've learned more about their policies on like a larger level. I've learned more about our nation as a whole through the class, honestly.
For Warrior Update, I'm Asia Mitchell.
Waubonsie students are registering to vote. Warrior Update has more.
The League of Women Voters at Naperville visited Waubonsie Valley in September to help register students who are eligible to vote. Social study government students were taught why it was important to vote and how to go about registering.
It feels pretty special because it finally feels like I have a voice in the political system, and now that I can fully speak out and vote, I feel like an adult now. I think it's important to vote because we need the younger people to have a voice, especially because most of the people who vote are older. So if we don't vote, we don't really have a voice. We kind of have a say, and I think it's important for the younger people to have a say in general.
Hernandez says social studies classes at Waubonsie have helped him understand government, how it works, as well as the voting process.
It's kind of taught me to look at the government in general and do my research, because if I didn't really have gov in general, I wouldn't have known anything about it, and I probably wouldn't have registered it at all. So now that I have had gov for a little bit, I've realized I need to vote and have a voice.
For more information, visit lwv.org. For Warrior Update, I'm Anaí Pisano.
Waubonsie Valley students gain global experiences and learn life skills in a unique club called Model UN.
Students get the chance to act as different nations, represent each country's diplomacy and their values, and also interact with various kids from across the nation and across the world.
You're modeling the actual United Nations, so you have various different topics or different committees. For example, we have the Health Organization or Human Rights Council, and in each one of these you have various different topics that you yourself are presenting as a country, and you're kind of taking those aspects and those viewpoints and channeling it into a mock debate.
It kind of forces you to work with people you disagree with, which I think is really important to know later on in life. It's an important life skill to know how to talk about people you disagree with, and it's also nice to kind of compromise and come to a solution together.
I've learned how to work with a team better, how to form compromises better.
Whenever you talk or whenever you speak, it's not really about how much you're winning or how many awards you're accumulating. It's about what you learn every single time you're in a conference or you get out of a conference.
So you need to study a lot about different countries, so I think it's really useful to know what different countries think about different policies and how the United States, for example, interacts with China or Korea.
Model UN really provides that outlet to interact with diverse groups of people, so it's a really cool experience, and it gives you that globalized perspective. You're seeing the world and what they are doing and the different aspects of how different realms of politics, socialization, it carries on to your future. You're going to be talking with people who are representing different countries, and the moment you go into the real world or even just college or your job life, I think it really affects the way that you think and the way that you take those experiences of what other people have said to you or talked to you and interacted with you on an international scale, and you put that into your own life and you carry that on with you to the future.
For Warrior Update, I'm Carter Shaw.
That's all for Warrior Update. I'm Lily Newton. Thanks for watching. One social studies teacher gives us the preview. Oh crap, that's not the word. Today on Warrior Update, God darn it. Feature and preview are two completely different things. Feature Waubonsie's government class. You're distracting me, actually. Students register to vote, and we feature... I'm Lily Newton, and this is Warrior Update.